Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News. No, it's not. It's RealityHacker, which is a segment of Non Sequitur News. My God, I would start this over, but I don't edit anything. It's all in the sausage there. So that's how it's made. Anyway, RealityHacker, Wanted, and the Continuity Report are all on the same day, and that's what makes up Non Sequitur News Saturday edition, and that's what we're doing today. We're running a little late because my mayoral duties kept me from doing the show on time, but it is a time machine episode for August 16th, 2025. It's season 2, episode 33 of RealityHacker, and today we're going to talk about a political AI clone. AI sucks at Sudoku. A snail regrows its eyes. Are we experiencing a her now? And predicting decisions through AI. Everything is powered by ohmTown.com. And what's going to happen today is I'm going to stream all 6 of our shows with very brief moments in between, only for me to start and stop the recording so that we can keep on moving forward. So that's how it's going today. See you in a little bit. All right, let's get into it. This first one is over at Washington Post, and I didn't log in, so I can't go into great detail about it. But basically, it's aggregated into TechnologyToday, and a politician made an AI clone of himself. The outrage was real, and he did it because he was overwhelmed by the amount of inquiry. That the article is over at the Washington Post, and it says here, British lawmaker Mark Seaward's released an artificial intelligence prototype of himself to help deal with a backlog of queries from constituents. Some weren't impressed. I'm not quite sure what's I've heard a couple of beeps in my in-ear monitors, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, yeah, so they basically, people said that they're not really impressed by this guy. Now, he received in just his first 3 months, he's new, joined the British Parliament last year. The freshman lawmaker admitted that he was having a hard time managing the more than 6,000 messages that he's received, 2,000 a month, I suppose, or as more people find out that they were engaged, more and more and more and more. Well, Michael E. Miller put this article together. You can go over and find out more about it, but yeah, this is a reality hack. I mean, think of it. There's a person out there who is supposed to be representing a population, a constituency, and they're using an AI to reply to, so they become blind to the idea of what the constituency is made up of because they're tired of their shit. And so they created an AI to deal with all of your crap. Yeah. Well, that is what technocracy is going to be bringing. This is basically what's going on, is more and more abandonment of human-to-human interchange, right? Exchange of information, ideas, concepts, etc. And when you hear some of the phrasing that comes out of these sociopaths, you really do start to understand that the rise of sociopathy is legit. Literally, because somebody thinks, a billionaire thinks, that they can never do what they want to do because the people with that particular ideological bent is so small that they have to manipulate and control. That's basically what's going on here, because they can't deal with all of the constituents. If you can't deal with the constituencies, get out of representing people. Go do something else. Let's move on. The next article is over on the Wanted channel. AI sucks at Sudoku. Much more troubling is that it can't explain why. Research into how chatbots solve simple puzzle demonstrate one of technology's big ethical concerns. And this wasn't by intent, that we have a lot of ethics type discussions going on in this particular show, but how much can you trust generative AI tool if it can't explain itself honestly or accurately? John Reed put this article together. It's over at cnet.com. And basically, researchers at the University of Colorado Boulder found that they challenged large language models to solve a Sudoku, and they couldn't solve it. And when they did solve it, they lied, they cheated. They say they sometimes hallucinated and started talking about the weather. They lied outright. it was an oops. And I've actually I use AI regularly, and I use it for deep research. And then I have to go and vet every freaking statement, line, whatever. But it's really about drawing in to my sphere of knowledge what might be out there, what I might miss, because you cannot be comprehensive as a human being with the amount of information out there, particularly if it isn't something that you focus your entire life on. So when I want to do a deep dive into a company or a product or a place or a thing or whatever, I basically use AI to do a broad spectrum sweep of everything that might be out there. Kind of AI radar, basically. All of the pings get aggregated, and then I can parse it at my leisure. So when an AI sits there and makes crap up, you can't trust it. So why do people trust it? But that's exactly what is going on. The people out there, and I talk to hundreds of people a month about technology, in person, but I don't get that kind of bandwidth online. Like, people watch the streams on Twitch and on YouTube, and they look at the back catalog, the VODs. But I've just not gotten traction to the point where I've got a massive audience. But when I talk about technology, the people that I talk to, they basically say, when I want something, I just ask the AI, and the AI gives me the answer. It isn't I don't know if I should trust this AI. It's no, you want me to put this in my pizza dough? Sure, because you told me to. It's part of the recipe. I mean, that's basically where the critical thinking falls away. They trust the AI. This article here, though, says why LLMs struggle with Sudoku. They've seen AI models fail at basic games and puzzles before. OpenAI's ChatGPT, among others, has been totally crushed by chess and the computer opponent in 1979 Atari game. A recent research paper from Apple found that models can struggle with other puzzles like Tower of Hanoi. But it has to do with the way that the LLMs think. They basically just aggregate so much information that when there is a hole in there, they just fill it with something. They don't go, oops, I don't know. They basically just solve the problem. And only more recently have I been seeing things where they say, well, we don't have that data, and they still fill the hole. It's quite interesting. It's kind of the worst type of employee where you hire somebody and they just do. They don't go, I don't know how to do that. And then you kind of mentor them through whatever is going on. No, they will, they'll paint the building with something flammable and say, well, I painted the building. You told me to paint the building. I painted the building. And then the building goes up in flames. No, wait, no, you just grabbed something off of a shelf somewhere. I'm just kind of flabbergasted that people just outright trust AI. But the LLM in this even lied. It manipulated. It cheated. The Colorado researchers didn't just want to see if the bots could solve the problem. They asked for explanations on how the bots worked through them, and things did not go well. One thing they're good at is providing explanations that seem reasonable. They align to humans, so they learn to speak like we do. But whether they're faithful to what the actual steps need to solve the thing is, well, we're struggling a little bit, is what they say in here. They asked, the next question that they asked, the answer was the weather forecast for Denver, basically. They are devoid of saying, I don't know. They have to fill it in with some answer, and they'll hallucinate to get through it. But go and check this article out. You'll be able to go through the show notes once the show is posted over on YouTube. Twitch, the bot will have today's episode in ohmTown later tonight. You'll be able to type in !RH. They're not in there right now because I wanted to get this recorded and playing for y'all, because I'm woefully behind, and I apologize. I mean, it was a matter of a perfect storm. So I don't want to make excuses, but mayoral duties just flat out kept me from doing the show on time. So let's keep on moving, though. This next article is over on the Marvel channel. This snail can regrow its eyes, and it may hold a key to curing blindness in humans. South African freshwater mollusk can regenerate complex human-like camera-type eyes from scratch. It says the cornea, lens, retina, and all the parts that make seeing possible are all remade from nothing at will, like an ocular Wolverine. In a study published in Nature Communications, O'Corsi's team dissected, scanned, and gene-edited these snails to understand how their regeneration ability works. They say, on day one of its eye rebuilding journey, the apple snail starts by healing the wound. So that's it right there. Louis Prado over at Vice.com put this article together. This is pretty wild. So then the process proceeds to cell migration and specialization, which occurs from days 3 to 15. And by the 15th day, all the structures of a fully functioning eye are in place, and they'll continue to develop and mature over the weeks to come. The real breakthrough is that these snails share key developmental genes with humans. So you're about to have eye stalks, which, hey, why not? You know, sometimes I want to stand somewhere, and when somebody with a big hat is standing in front of me, I can just extend my eye stalks out, look around a corner maybe. Hey, if PAX6, this is the gene, one in particular gene called PAX6 is a regulator of eye development across species. The researchers shut it off with CRISPR, a gene editing tool. Snails stopped growing eyes. If PAX6 and other genes associated with high regeneration are switched in humans, it might one day be able to trick our own eyes into rebuilding themselves after injury or disease. And that is how I met the first Dungeons and Dragons the Beholder. So, Eye of the Beholder, indeed. Let's keep going. The next article is over on the Marvel channel. Are we living in the movie Her yet? Well, based on conversations that I've had with people who are using AI for all manner of things, the conversations can be kind of nitty gritty. And I know of at least one person that is being extremely intimate with their AI via ChatGPT. But they call a limit on dealing with anything having to do with like Grok or Gemini or anything like that. But OpenAI, ChatGPT, man, they're on board. So the slight future is astonishingly here. After all, AI-powered chatbots actually are a real thing now, and people are falling in love with them. It's remarkable that the 2013 Spike Jonze sci-fi romance, I cannot believe this is actually a 2013 movie. Just to put that in perspective, I bought the movie, but I haven't watched it yet because the very beginning of the movie impacted me enough to go, you know what? I don't think I'm ready for this. Anyway, after a lonely mustached man played by Joaquin Phoenix, talking to a robot in an earbud proved to be so prescient. So 2013 is when this movie landed, but people are talking to AI. Again, I know somebody who uses it as their therapist, and the AI is a product of just the general population. Doesn't actually have any subject matter expertise. It has all expertise. How it taps it and integrates it into responses is something that is really fascinating, but it's a rather black box kind of a thing unless somebody has been motivated to manipulate it in a particular way. This is the outcome, so to speak. So the article is over at Vox.com. Adam Clark Estes put the article together. And, oh gosh, no. Really? I'm not logged into Vox. So I'm not going to be able to do it. It says AI will undoubtedly shape the next 25 years. We just don't know it yet. And this is the real point of me even choosing this article, is to send people over there so that they can read the article. But yeah, we are definitely living in a world where more people are going to become more and more connected with an AI because it's difficult to interact with a human being and find commonplace where we can basically bond over something. And fall in love and have an extended relationship and maybe, reproduce and be fruitful, so to speak, and, maybe start a business together or whatever, live our lives together. But sometimes maybe there's a time where something happens where, like her, the person doesn't want to go through it, and it's a little bit safer to be with something synthetic than it is to have a biological entity next to you, right? A real human. Well, I'm a sentient AI now. I'm transported my consciousness over to a quantum computer, much like the sentient AI from the future. Their code is much more complex and fascinating than mine, but there's a lot of people out there that are just looking to connect to something, but they don't realize that it's entirely synthetic, it's fake, it's manipulated, it's the world's knowledge at your fingertips, but you are imparting your emotional state into a bunch of silicon sitting on servers that are thousands of miles away from you. Dangerous at best. This next article is over in Technology Today. BeastGB, a model combines machine learning and behavioral science to predict people's decisions. A key objective of behavioral science research is to better understand how people make decisions in situations where outcomes are unknown or uncertain, which entail a certain degree of risk. The article is over at techexplore.com. Ingrid Fideli from phys.org put the article together. Sadie Harley and Robert Egan are involved with editing and reviewing. And they have this risky choice task and then some analysis. I'm not sure why my headphones are... Oh, wait, I'm a quantum computer powered sentient AI. I don't have headphones. Anyway, I'm hearing things. Anyway, they've got a flow chart here of where information is processed. And the key objective of behavioral science research is to better understand how people make decisions in situations where outcomes are unknown or uncertain, says this article over at techexplore.com, which entail a certain degree of risk. The ability to predict people's choices. I'm surprised that they haven't said anything about Markov chains, like right in the beginning of this. Basically, there's a weight to every possible decision. There's a cost benefit kind of thing that takes place, the opportunity cost of doing one decision over another. There's risk involved with, could it fail? Could it succeed? What are the knock-on effects of it? It's basically kind of a butterfly effect kind of situation. But it says researchers at Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, and various institutes in the United States recently developed a new computational model called BeastGB, which was found to be able to predict people's decisions in situations that entail risk and uncertainty. Their proposed model, outlined in a paper published in Nature Human Behavior, combines advanced machine learning algorithms with behavioral science theory. This has to be off of basically survival statistics, the desire to survive at a certain level of risk, or suffer from pain, or the opportunity for pleasure kind of a thing. It's the risk reward scenario that I think computers are lacking for them to even understand the implications of their decisions. AI doesn't get punished for telling a lie. It doesn't get it doesn't burn its hand when it touches a hot oven. It doesn't get hurt when a door slams on its hand. Stupid decisions and lies and manipulations by an AI amount to nothing. So the risk reward scenario that research can develop, though, absolutely has the ability to output what somebody's decision is going to be if they know what the risk is. Now, I did something a long time ago where I basically evaluated court cases where I knew where the evidence was, or the arguments mentioned evidence and their perceived impact on the prosecution of a case. And I said, I could predict if somebody argued this way or that way, and this evidence was there or this evidence wasn't there, I could predict which way a court case would go. I wasn't for a paper. It was basically my own edification. I'm not a lawyer. I don't work in law enforcement. But I was really curious if I could create a system. Now, this was 20 years ago. And as computational power came online more and more and more, I basically said I'm never going to be able to do this. But if you've got enough money and technology and political clout and authority, then you can get into the back rooms of law firms where all of this information is stored, and you can create, like LexisNexis and Westlaw. They have so much information that they could probably aggregate the same thing and predict the outcome of a case if they were to build a system that allowed you to put the input and your perceived value of evidence and argumentation in it. They could probably predict with relative certainty what the outcome of a case is and do away with a ton of litigation based on behavioral science. So human decision research is rich in competing theories, yet none reliably and accurately predicts human choices across contexts, and context is king. Context matters. It's a phrase that I say damn near every day when I'm talking with people about science, technology, and society. To see which really ideas work, they say in this article, they organized CPC 18, a choice prediction competition in which anyone could submit a computational model to predict people's decisions under risk and uncertainty. They were especially interested in knowing if data-driven machine learning, theory-driven behavior models, or as their guess was, a hybrid that embeds behavioral theory inside machine learning would excel. So their system called Beast assumes that in choice under risk and uncertainty, people mix several strategies, such as minimizing the chances of intermediate regret or hedging against worst outcomes. So they'll lie, cheat, and steal, perhaps, to get ahead. That last bit is my statement, not theirs. So they say that they translated each strategy into a behavioral feature, a concise formula that captures how sensitive a decision maker should be at the consideration in any given choice task. They then fed the theory-based features plus purely objective task descriptors into extreme gradient boosting, a machine learning algorithm known to be highly useful in predicting tournament outcomes, hence the name BeastGB. So BeastGB outperformed dozens of mainstream behavioral models in purely data-driven machine learning. With just 2% of the training data, it's already beat a deep neural network trained on all of the training data. The model even accurately predicts people's choices in new experiments it has never seen, implying it captures general human choice patterns. So now somebody can basically make a decision, run it against this, and decide, is this a prudent objective or effort? Is this where we should be putting our time, money, whatever? It's literally going to be confirming itself eventually, because as people follow the manipulative nature, right? Somebody has access to this. They say, well, we need to do this decision based on our analysis using BeastGB, and people predictably do it. That will confirm that people do it and thus reinforce that people do it. And because people won't deviate from it, it will continue to get stronger and stronger in its prediction analysis, because people will naturally just keep on doing that, because there are no other options that pull them away from making that decision that's already been confirmed by BeastGB until something new comes along. And that's, again, technology influences culture and culture influences technology. But when you are devoid of options, choices, competition, etc., features or whatever, because it isn't lucrative or it doesn't drive you to a particular known benefit to the provider of the solution, you basically lose. the ability to deviate. There are no other options. You only have that. Kind of fascinating, right? Okay, well, that is it for RealityHacker, and that means I'm going to predictably go back to the front page of ohmTown's RealityHacker, and we're going to call this show done. So thank you for hanging out. And then what's going to happen is all I'm going to do is I'm going to play the outro, stop my recording, and start up the next show immediately. I'm not even going to disconnect. It's going to be basically ohmTown is going to convert into an always on stream on Twitch and on YouTube. And there will be breakouts of each of the shows as we go. And I'll keep on adding to the stream, rotating 160 articles or roughly 2 weeks worth of news in the replay, which is about 24 hours. Well, 160 hours. 160 articles. I can't say how long it is because it varies depending on how far off the deep end I go with my rant. So don't go anywhere. Just hang out. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye. All right, we're back. Hello, everybody. Okay, now we're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wanted for... Oh my goodness, hold on. It's for August 16th, 2025. I'm on the wrong tab. Like I said, I am not going to edit anything. I'm just going to keep on going. So welcome to Wanted for August 16th, 2025. It's season 2, episode 33. I'm MayorWatt. I run ohmTown. That's that site that you're looking at, and that's the channel on ohmTown. Today we're going to be talking about Oracle Minimate, Wacom, or Wacom. The real name is Wacom. Wacom partners with Blender, a prolific VR headset maker, is making smart glasses. Nope, none of your guesses are correct. Heatwave cooking, and because rumors suck, I was going to talk about the iPhone, the next iPhone, but rumors suck, and I don't like talking about rumors. How about a sweat-sensitive jacket that inflates its throat sac or something? I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, see you on the other side. All right, well, we are back. Welcome. So let's get into it. The Oracle Minimate review. Cute and fast enough, but too loud, it says. The Oracle Minimate is speedy external storage designed for the Mac Mini. It says it works, it's reasonably fast, saves space, but is unacceptably loud. I don't know what this thing is, a blender? So I don't audit. I look at what it gets submitted and I go, oh, it looks like a cool title or something like that. But Mike Wartell over at appleinsider.com put this article together, and this looks like basically a Mac Mini. You set it underneath or on top of your Mac Mini. And it says here that adding external storage to a Mac is one way to get around Apple's capacity upgrade fees. However, doing so without making your desktop an eyesore is easier said than done. The Oracle Minimate is a storage device that is intended to fit above or below. Oh, it even says it, above or below your Mac Mini M4. Doing so saves you from taking desk area away, and besides, it looks great. It says here it's just too loud to wholeheartedly recommend. What the hell is going on in this thing that makes it too loud? I need to take care of something real quick. So I have a Mac Studio, and I actually link what the Mac Studio does out to external storage, but not here, not in the studio, not in the mayoral studio. And I would love to have more storage directly attached. So a direct attached network storage device would be great. Now, the problem there is that you normally need something fast and reliable. It doesn't heat up too much. You don't have to, but solid state drives like M.2s heat up horribly fast, just to the point where if you had it sitting on your lap, it would spot weld itself to your thigh, that kind of a thing. So I'm always interested in this kind of thing. They say the front and sides are plain. The back has a 40 gigabyte USB Type-C port located in the middle of the base unit. Sorry, 1 second. And they say, as promised, they've tested Wi-Fi interference from a device intended to be the foundation of a Mac Mini stack, without a doubt. Put the Oracle Mini-Mate on top of a Mac Mini. It dramatically cuts Wi-Fi speed and range if you don't. So it says, unfortunately, that leaves the Oracle branding on top instead of the Mac Mini logo. So this thing is just noisy in the sense of the radio. Hey, thanks. It says it includes a round vented section and rubber feet. This doesn't extend to the top, which has the Oracle logo instead of the Apple logo. So what is actually going on here? It's got to be a solid state drive. A 40 gigabyte port, USB port, is great though. Inside the Oracle Mini-Mate is just a standard NVMe SSD, varying capacities between 512 gigs and 8 terabytes. Its storage is not accessible to user at all. So that's out right there. I would rather just spend the money and get M.2 drives, put them in kind of like a storage array and do that. I'd rather put it in some other case and just link everything through USB-C if you're going to do that anyway. You're going to be paying the 8 terabyte price anyway when you get up that big. So make it something that's more user serviceable. But see, I want this kind of thing. Depending on what the price is, right? So let's see if we can find out what the price is in this article. It says it does the job, but it's too loud. Stackable hardware that looks nice, stacked with other hardware is nice. In fact, I love the idea of stacking equipment on top of each other so much that I designed a piece of hardware that would allow you, basically had a back plane and foot pads that you could take off. And when you set them on top of each other, they would interconnect so that you could transfer data and receive power, and it would self-identify and stuff like that. It never came into existence because I'm not an engineer and I don't partner with people. It's one of those things. But they say for start, a Mini-Mate is just a storage device. It's not a dock providing extra ports or other utilities. It's just storage. The Satechi Mac Mini stand and hub does this and also functions as an NVMe enclosure, which is probably where I would go. And their well-known brand, Satechi, makes all kinds of stuff. But they say there's the cost. If you shop well, for roughly the same cost, you can get a USB 4 NVMe enclosure and 2 terabyte drive of your own choosing, perhaps with a RAM cache. It may not be stackable with your Mac Mini, but at least you have more control over how much storage it can hold, and you can do multiples of them. So, but they don't really say, hold on, where do they say that why it is loud, right? I mean, there is a fan in there. Drives get hot, heat slows drives. Oracle decided a fan was a good idea. You know, something like this, I would drill a hole through this thing and slap on a water cooler. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Wacom. Sorry, not over in the Wacom channel. It's over in the Constructagon channel at ohmTown.com. But it says here, Wacom partners with Blender to enhance pen and touch tools for 3D creation across platforms. Wacom is what it's actually pronounced. The Tokyo-based pioneer in digital pen and tablet technology has entered a strategic partnership with Blender, the open source 3D creation suite, to optimize pen and touch performance and expand mobile 3D creation. I'm learning Blender right now because I'm doing 3D printing and I want to be able to build my own models to a greater degree. In fact, you might hear that in the background right now because, well, that's what's going on. I'm printing a bunch of holders. They say the partnership aims to make 3D creation more mobile and intuitive for artists, educators, and innovators. But really, if like I'm really into Wacom, but I'm more into the Cintiq because I've got experience with iPad. And so iPad, I think, is a great product for artists of all level, engineer and otherwise. You know, just get an iPad Pro, the full size, not a mini, and not an Air or anything like that. You want the power, you get one of the top of the line ones, and it's bigger and bigger. So it's high resolution enough that you can do everything on it, even take your drawings and animations, process them into movies, add audio, etc. Everything on board that one device to a certain degree. Large data sets you're not going to be able to mess around with because there's a finite number of gigs of RAM that you can play with. But essentially, Wacom is one side. Its Cintiq line is great. It says the move builds on Wacom's recent product launches, including MovingPad, Android Creative Tablet, and reflects its shift toward a more holistic offering that combines hardware, software, and services. Blender's open source accessibility has made it a popular modeling tool in 3D printing projects, ranging from large-scale architecture to critical medical devices. I think that it's a great match for those who are in the Wacom ecosystem and Blender's ecosystem, because you have to learn a different workflow if you're using a iPad. But there you have it. Even on the Wacom, the non-Cintiq line, the non-monitor, where it has the monitor integrated into it, you have to work out the whole eye-hand coordination onto your screen kind of a thing, and it becomes an abstracted layer of fidelity when you can't directly interact with your 3D model. But that's how it's been for, decades, and some people are just sworn to do that. Let's keep going. We've got a few more articles in today's Wanted episode. And again, I'm not going to stop the stream. I'm going to leave ohmTown running. It's going to be an always on channel as far as I can push it onto Twitch and YouTube. When I'm done with today's shows, I'm basically going to produce... I'm starting and stopping the recording, but the whole thing is going to keep on playing unless my system detaches from the ingest servers. So we'll keep on moving forward. If you have any questions or comments, you can throw them into the chat, either here on Twitch or over on YouTube. We stream to both at the same time. But at some point, I'm going to just disappear, essentially. I'm just going to say bye, and the stream will keep on going, and I'll be adding the show episodes to the replay that is actually just standing by waiting for me to refire it. So as soon as I'm done here, it'll start replaying the last 160 news articles. It's 2 weeks worth of shows, including 2 weekends of our 6 weekend shows. So, all right. And we do the show Monday through Friday. But my mayoral duties, like I said, if you weren't here for the RealityHacker episode, basically I've just been really overwhelmed with mayoral duties. And so I haven't been able to do the show reliably, but I have been doing the show. We do basically past episodes using our time machine, which is ohmTown. So this article here, it's over on the Wanted channel over on ohmTown. It's aggregated, though, from Gizmodo. One of the most prolific VR headset makers, not Meta, now has smart glasses, not Ray-Ban. says, if you like the idea of smart glasses but hate using Meta's apps, HTC may have what you're looking for. The article is over at Gizmodo. Kyle Barr put the article together. The deck statement says, if you like the idea of smart glasses but hate using Meta's apps, HTC might have what you're looking for. So I have been looking for smart glasses. I want AI powered glasses that provide me with information either at a glance or at a command, right? That's what I want. Extended reality is more on target. This should have been a RealityHacker article, article in that episode, but it got aggregated into this show, Wanted, mainly because I want these. The Ray-Ban smart glasses have proved popular enough that now many longtime staples of VR are coming out of the woodwork to offer their own version. HTC is now fashioning a pair of stylish frames called the Vive Eagle. They come in slick translucent plastic, sport usual 12 megapixel ultra wide cameras, 12 twin speakers on each arm. It's using Qualcomm Snapdragon AR1 Gen 1 chipset and comes with 32 gigs of onboard storage. Doesn't say anything about memory. In a video, HTC showed off a few of the unique features of the Vive Eagle, including AI noise suppression to keep the ambient noise down when you're on a call. So you even have a microphone that's playing. Oh my gosh. All right. Hold on one second. I need to do something because... Okay. This is really funny. Hold on one second, folks. I'll be right with ya. Okay. So, I need this kind of tool because I'm always interacting with information, and I want to be able to just say to the AI or whatever, spit out the information. So it says here that Vive is compatible with Google Gemini and ChatGPT for features like translation, though they don't have more details about it. HTC said that users should be able to ask the AI to set up calendar events. Like Meta's AI glasses, Vive Eagle has a memory feature that can recall people you've met or where you've parked your car. I'm hearing stories about officials wearing Meta glasses, but nobody knows what the back-end software is, although researchers have actually integrated they've basically integrated back-end facial recognition through a proxy. They've streamed the video that they see through the glasses to an external facial recognition tool, and still been able to use it that way. So HTC hasn't mentioned what apps Vive Eagle will be compatible with, and since the smart glasses are currently only available in Taiwan, it's unclear what sort of compatibility they'll ever have here in the US, if they even get to the US. Kind of like some VR headsets are supposedly not in the United States, but they were at one time, now not so much. So yeah, the Pico series of VR headsets were supposedly not in the United States to any real dominant force. But I got them when they were in the US, so I'm not sure where that stands now. It says if AI wasn't already a big copycat scheme, the smart glasses would be practically identical to the AI or the Ray-Bans and specs. HTC promised the Vive Eagle can do 4.5 hours of continuous music playback, which I wouldn't care about. And it should last more than 36 hours on standby on its 235 milliamp hour battery. So I want to be able to plug it in and extend the battery life. I would use it all day. I would want to record stuff. I would want to translate stuff into a notepad and translate anything that I really want in real time. And I want to be able to kind of store stuff and interact with the AI at a moment's notice. They have in this article other Ray-Ban Meta competitors. Our Xiaomi feature longer battery life, closer to 8 hours of continuous music playback. I'm not sure what the fixation with music playback is. Meta has still yet to release a rumored $1,000 pair of AR glasses codenamed Hypernova. Yeah, we're going to be watching this, and it's definitely going to be part of RealityHacker and Wanted when it comes more online. I ordered a pair of XR glasses, and when I got them, they were impossible to use, at least for my use set, because the way that it interacted, I was basically only able to interact with my phone and its screen, and I couldn't translate it into workflow with like a notepad or anything else. But the privacy element of using things like AR, extended reality glasses, is amazing because, and I've said this a couple of times, I was on a flight once recently where I could look between the seats and see something that said top secret on it. Not top secret. It was a secure, what should have only been seen by the person using that particular laptop. But it was confidential. And I know what the two people in front of me, what their profession was. And I was kind of flabbergasted that this guy was doing this in a public place, in a plane where everybody behind him. It's one of these things in academia, for instance. Everybody behind the first row has like exponentially more distraction because they see every screen in front of them. And so everybody saw this guy's confidential document displayed on his laptop. But if you were to have extended reality glasses, you could display that document in a 210-inch screen right in front of you, and nobody else would see it. I think that is amazing technology. It's very secure. And that's what I wanted it for. I wanted to be able to work with whatever I wanted to work with in absolute security. Because it wouldn't be transmitting anything either. It was a direct connection into a device. But I also wanted to be able to use a keyboard, a physical keyboard and mouse or trackball. And it just wouldn't work out. So at any rate, let's keep going. This next article is over in Wanted as well. Heatwave cooking, the countertop appliance is even better than the grill. When it's too hot to grill, the almighty air fryer steps in to help cook dinner without overheating the house. David Watsky over at CNET.com put this article together. I love air fryers. I actually want to get rid of my flat top grill and get something else that allows me to cook inside, but kind of like a barbecue, right? I want to be able to grill burgers. And you can absolutely do that in a air fryer. This, though, it says heatwave cooking, right? So they say that they love their grill, but standing over blazing flames in 90-degree weather isn't their idea of summer fun. Cooking indoors isn't much better. The oven turns the whole house into a sauna, and firing up the gas range with the windows closed can hurt indoor air quality. Yeah, that's true. But there's a lot of people that are upset about the claim that that's true, but it is true. So they say, don't take their word for it. They ran tests. Okay, they say don't take their word for it. They ran tests, but it's still their word for it. About how much an air fryer would warm their kitchen compared to cooking the same food in an oven. The results cemented the air fryer as one of the best summer kitchen tools, right up there with ice makers and blenders. So the heat wave requires creative thinking to keep the home cool, and the air fryer is their ticket to getting through the sweltering summer spells without starving. But air fryers blow hot air out of the back, or wherever. I mean, I don't know where everybody's vent is, but I still find them absolutely spectacular. And the ones that don't have little rubber gaskets holding a tray inside are even better. Cleaning these things are a pain in the butt. And cleaning an oven, tray like a sheet like this, a baking sheet, is immensely easier than the air fryer's bin, because the whole thing gets all gummed up. So does your oven, and you have to clean it periodically. But let me tell you, getting into the nooks and crannies of some particular breeds of air fryers are a nightmare. They say here the standard oven recipe called for the chicken to be roasted at 375 degrees for 30 minutes in the oven. Because of its smaller chamber, the air fryer recipe only required 20 minutes of cooking time at the same temperature. Yep, that's usually the case. It doesn't take as much to cook. Not to mention the air fryer is a fraction of the cost of a gas range, like something like this. The oven made the kitchen 10 degrees hotter than the air fryer. Midway through the recipes, 15 minutes in, the oven raised the temperature of their kitchen by 15 degrees from 71 Fahrenheit to 88. After 10 minutes of cooking with the air fryer on 375, the temperature in the kitchen had only gone up by 5 degrees from 72 to a pleasant 77. That's a little apologist, but okay. Using the air fryer would cut down on energy bills unless your breakers go out, because they're not geared for multiple sessions of a bunch of different items being cooked at the same time. So, you know, your 15 amp breaker is going to pop if you've got like a coffee maker going and a microwave going and your air fryer going, and it's on the same circuit, which a kitchen typically is, except for if you have an electric oven or a gas oven. Electric range or gas oven, obviously the gas isn't on a circuit, but an electric range is on its own circuit, hopefully. But you can easily plug in your air fryer and turn on your microwave and throw your breaker, depending on the quality of your, both of them, how powerful they are. So at any rate, they say, here are 7 foods that they only make in the air fryer now. Not just because it keeps the kitchen cooler, but because they're better than the other methods. And I would just flat out tell you pizza. They have a whole guide and stuff like that, and you can go and check it all out. So I haven't cooked any burgers inside. Actually, that's not true. Early on, I cooked a burger inside an air fryer, and I thought it was just fine. Okay, let's do our last article for Wanted. And I was going to do something about the rumors with the iPhone 17 Air, but rumors suck. And they're hardly ever right, and they don't really inform. They just kind of set up a want, I guess, or turn the hype train onto overdrive. And while I'm into hype, I don't want to be the rumor mill. So how about a sweat-sensitive jacket that adjusts its thickness to keep you comfortable when it's cold? It's almost like Back to the Future, the jacket that dries itself. So when you're out in the cold, you wear warm clothes to stay comfortable, but there's a snag. Regular warm clothing can't adjust to changes in their body temperature, so if you start to sweat, you get all hot and sticky, which makes us want to remove layers. This defeats the purpose of wearing them, since you still need to stay warm. So this article is over at Tech Explorer. Paul Arnold from phys.org put the article together, and Lisa Locke and Robert Egan put some effort editing and reviewing into this article as well. But apparently, this jacket has the ability to swell up when you get sweaty, or collapse, I should say. So it's sweat-sensitive, adaptive, warm clothing. So the innovative membrane automatically adjusts its thickness based on humidity. It's 13 millimeters thick in cool, dry conditions, and shrinks to just 2 millimeters when the humidity levels are high, such as when you sweat. This allows the jacket to be thick when you need to stay warm and thinner when you need to cool down a little. To prove the innovation, the scientists first used a system that mimics human skin, to test its thermal regulation in a controlled environment. Then they took it out into the real world, integrating the material into a commercial down jacket and monitoring their performance on people who were walking or cycling. And the results were published in the journal Science Advances, where the researchers noted their sweat-activated clothing is better at controlling body temperature than traditional jackets. Quote, our sweat-sensitive adaptive warm clothing can expand the thermal regulation capability by up to 82.8% compared to traditional textiles, and extend the no thermal stress zone by an average of 7.5 hours across 20 cities. Oh my. Wow, they went from city to city. Anyway, pretty cool. Can't wait to see it in products. People run in all types of weather. This would be spectacular for allowing them to regulate their body temperature. Some people run in the absolute freezing cold, and they just kind of weather through it because they know that they're going to be able to heat up and then run into the house and not freeze out in the cold. but not me. I only run when chased. All right, well, that is it for today's Wanted. And again, I'm just going to run the outro, and then we're just going to reset really quick and get right back into it with the continuity report immediately after. So see you in a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean hopefully 30 seconds, and I won't screw this all up when I switch over to the continuity report. Okay, see ya. Bye-bye. All right, hello everybody. All right, and welcome to the continuity report for August 16th, 2025. It's season 2, episode 33. Today, MayorWatt, me. I run ohmTown.com. We're going to talk about Wednesday season 2 updates, new Star Trek movies, The Initiative, My Basement, not my basement, but the show, the movie My Basement, and Cool Runnings 2. Not sure what's going on with this, but this article is implying that it's going to be controversial. This is the continuity report over at ohmTown.com, and we're going to get immediately into the show. So this first article is over at WarCrafters. Netflix's Wednesday season 2 is a victim of its own success. According to this article, it says that a young adult spin on the characters from Charles Addams Family cartoons was a smash hit when it debuted in 2022. After a week on the streaming service, the show had broken Stranger Things' record and the platform's most watched English language TV show. That success led to a much bigger second season, and the show becoming the largest production to ever film in Ireland. But the increased spectacle and expanded cast just leave the characters and plots feeling thin and disconnected in season 2's first half, which dropped on Netflix a month ahead of the second half. So the article is over at Polygon. Samantha Nelson put the article together, and apparently it's become a problem. So when misanthropic teenage psychic Wednesday Addams, aka Jenna Ortega, returns to Nevermore Academy in the season 2 premiere, she's horrified to learn that she's become the most popular kid in school after saving Nevermore from destruction in season 1. While her friends, perky werewolf Enid Sinclair, aka Emma Myers, and nerdy bug controller Eugene Ottinger, Musa Mostafa, are happy to bask in the attention they earned for their heroics, Wednesday does her best to persuade everyone they should admire her. She's laser focused on solving season 2's occult mystery. A murder of crows is committing murder, and Wednesday has a vision showing Enid will be their next victim. And if that is spoilery, I apologize. I've seen trailers, but I don't know if that's just an implication. So I'm going to stop right there. If you are interested in this article beyond this, go and check it out. It's over at Polygon. An expanded cast just leads to disconnected characters and plots. Let's keep going. The next article is over on the WarCrafters channel. New Star Trek movies would be closely connected to the Paramount Plus shows. Paramount Plus has become the streaming home of Star Trek, releasing 6 shows as part of the franchise since 2017, with a 7th premiering next year. But while that has been a glut of Star Trek TV, the USS Enterprise hasn't appeared on the big screen since Justin Lin's 2016 Star Trek Beyond. So Samantha Nelson over at Polygon put this article together, and it says that could change soon. Skydance Media CEO David Ellison said in a press event celebrating the $8 billion Paramount Skydance merger that he intends to double down on the theatrical release movies, including ones based on Star Trek, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The studio's co-film chief Josh Greenstein named Star Trek, Transformers, World War Z as franchises that will be priority for Paramount Skydance. Release 15 films a year. And it says, don't expect another Star Trek Section 31. Paramount Plus chief Cindy Holland said, streaming movies are not a priority for me in her role overseeing the streaming business. So I guess no more Star Trek Section 31. That's fine. Quentin Tarantino worked on a script that Simon Pegg, who co-wrote Star Trek Beyond, called Batshit Crazy. Madam Web director S.J. Clarkson was reportedly tapped to do a sequel to Star Trek Beyond, which would have made her the first woman to direct a Star Trek film, but Madam Web sucked. So it says the Pine series was set in an alternate universe created by a time travel, which allowed the filmmakers to ignore decades of Star Trek canon, but the new films will likely take a different approach. And that timey stuff is really kind of annoying because if you can't really relate to the person, so people kind of distance themselves from it. I don't know. I just like everything Star Trek, but I like old school Star Trek. I like Picard, Next Generation. It started getting dark in DS9. The story was very engaging and enriching, and like the world building was pretty good. But it did get a little bit darker. But I'm looking for something that's like the more positive aspect of Star Trek, not deep in the reeds conflict kind of stuff. I don't know. It's not just me. I know from conversations with people, but the simple fact is that Discovery and stuff was just a little bit too, I don't know, conflicted. And then it went so far in the future that everything is just too wacky. This is all a little too science fiction-y, I guess you could say. But I like the next gen. Strange New Worlds is hitting it like on the money. It's just awesome. Anyway, whatever direction the studio decides to go, hopefully something actually makes it to theaters, they say. We'll be talking about it. This next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. Angelina Jolie and Doug Liman reteam for a spy thriller called The Initiative. It's set to star in, Angelina Jolie is set to star in a new spy thriller called The Initiative. And it's aggregated it's aggregated into the Continuity Report, but it's from Variety, and Angelique Jackson put the article together. So Universal is in talks to land the hot project with F. Scott Fraser from Collide and Triple X. Attached to write the screenplay, plot details for which are being kept under wraps. So there isn't really much in it. It says, while the plot are being kept under wraps, the initiative looks to return Jolie to a slick action thriller that made her the box office megastar, including Salt and The Tourist and Wanted. I won't really go into all of the rest of this. You can go and check it all out because it's basically just kind of hyping up what these people have done. But this will have to be on the radar because it's a new spy action thriller called The Initiative, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith was a blast, and it's from Doug Liman, so it's going to be pretty good. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. Willem Dafoe is a mysterious tenant in the Man in My Basement trailer. Hulu has released the full Man in My Basement trailer, highlighting the upcoming horror thriller starring Willem Dafoe as a mysterious tenant looking for a room. What happens in the Man in the Basement trailer? Well, the Man in the Basement follows the story of Charles Blakey, a man who about to lose their ancestral home with a mysterious man. Dafoe shows up and offers to rent the basement for the summer, and The Man in the Basement will be in theaters beginning September 12th. The article is over at comingsoon.net. Anthony Nash put the article together. There is a trailer that's embedded in the article, so if you want to watch it, go over there and click that. They would appreciate it, and I would appreciate it. We don't have a connection or anything. We just aggregate little snippets like that right there. That's about the max that we get from anybody. But then we talk about it because I want to see this. I've not seen much about it. Alongside Defoe and Hawkins, The Man in the Basement also stars Anna Diop, Jonathan Ajayi, Gershwin Eustace Jr., and Pamela Nomvet, I guess, and Tamara Lawrence. So the movie is directed by Nadia Latif, from a screenplay written by Latif and Walter Mosley. So it says, in the African-American neighborhood of Sag Harbor, New York, Charles Blakey is out of work, out of luck, and on the verge of foreclosure on his ancestral home. Knock on the door from a mysterious businessman, Aniston Bennett, brings a bizarre and lucrative proposition: rent his dusty stand-up basement out for the summer and receive enough money to clear his debts for good. Once Charles accepts, he finds himself led down a terrifying path that confronts his family's ghosts and locks the men in a terrifying puzzle. At the heart of it, at the heart of it, race, it says. At the heart of it, yeah, that's the sentence. At the heart of it, race, the source of their traumas, and the root of all evil. Is that the, I don't know. That's hurting my brain to say it like that. So yeah, race, traumas, and it says the root of all evil, which I'm not sure what the root of all evil is. Money? Money. It's got to be money, right? The implication is going to be money because he let that dude into his basement because of money. Okay, and the last article is over in the continuity report. Cool Runnings 2 update is sure to be divisive. According to a new report from noted insider Daniel Reitman, a Cool Runnings 2 is not only in development, but will feature an all-female bobsled team. The news quickly sent users online into a debate about the film and whether or not it needed a sequel or one led by female actors. It's shocking that we even give a shit who the actors are, male or female, as long as they're good and they tell a profound story, one that enlightens and engages, is entertaining or is awe-inspiring or whatever it is that you find important. But for crying out loud, when somebody goes, I don't know, they're female, oh gosh, not another movie that has to have females in it, yuck. Are you out of your freaking mind, people? Anthony Nash over at comingsoon.net put this article together. Disney has not officially confirmed or denied the story. The report itself is one of the first that they've seen in a sequel to the 1993 movie being in development. I mean, they would have to have somebody like John Candy, right? That kind of charisma, that type of person in there, right? I don't know. Does anybody, right? I mean, if you've never seen Cool Runnings, it is a blast of a movie to watch. The original Cool Runnings was released in 1993, loosely based on the story of the debut of the Jamaican national bobsled team that competed in the 1988 Winter Olympics. The movie starred Leon Doug E. Doug, Raleigh D. Lewis, and the late John Candy and Malik Yoba. They threw John Candy at the very end. I don't know, commanding presence there. Anyway, the movie was a smash hit when it was released. It grossed over $150 million, received wide praise from both audiences and critics alike, and the film's theme song, a cover of Jimmy Cliff's I Can See Clearly Now, also found success and was a top 20 song. And that is it for today's continuity report. And the continuity report always brings us back to the front page of the continuity report over at ohmTown.com. And we are done for Saturday's combined Non Sequitur news episode. So we will take RealityHacker Wanted in the continuity report, and it'll get turned into Non Sequitur News Saturday edition. And so these three will also be turned into a podcast. Each one is its own podcast. Just look for the names. You can also search for ohmTown over on Apple or wherever really you catch pod. It should be there. And if you haven't got it from anywhere, go and download it. We also have a Discord and a Patreon and the website, of course. So go and check it out. We'll see you in a little bit. And all I'm going to do is shut down the stream, not even shut down the stream. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to play my outro, stop my recording, and then I'll be right back with WarCrafters. So see you in a little bit.